Gainike. Yeden chia stronko free Iona Pharmacy mamunyina. Yede Gainike syrup aba. Gainike. Eboa eyi afichikro emu haw ahodo te se afichikro emayi de etutusi basabasa. Ene afichikro mu yaw ahodo ni nyina efiri hokra. Gainike boa ema atenka akofem no san peja ne mu yie pa. Gainike boa yema menomu a wanya menopause. Eho haw ahodo te se ohonam a ehyehyew na eyira wo no abufuo atete ene de atete saa no nyina. Gainike brena sekra. Edrei enkoda a oni mfie edumienu entumi mfabi. Ubenya bi ewo pharmacy, licensed chemical shop ana herbal shop a eben mu. Pendodo atu a frɛ Iona Pharmacy. Gainike ebeye wo de. FDA ahwehwe adwadie nkratoe mu agye atum se eye.
Onya kwacha doctor cha baby. Amani nyare wasu tumi pa.
Afei na twere ensem a ese moni dua na ba mfa na haban ensa yale na abamu. Dr. Tam da so ama oyalefuo bia nya anidaso se ne yale ebefire ne so. Wo ebra wode na akyerem wo medimafo heba clinic. Oyalefuo ba ho na ohye na ebra empa ho. Gise de wawuo ana wasie no nko na ontumi. Abubuafo enante anifrafo esna panie. Stroke, diabetes, pressure na yale enka ni nyina aye entatia case. Wasiesie na yale sabia ho kama. Doctor se fakakra bi beje wayalesa wo Kumase abuakwa agogo. Oyalefuo bia kaise udimafo ye medimafo heba clinic. Dr. Time Daso.
Tuozafi ina kuke kuna dansoman da kuman awoshi kaneshi madina shukura kakudamu
The WAFU Zone B Girls Cup is here. We have the president of Ghana Football Association double up as the WAFU Union president as well. In the cup, in your shot, with the vice president and then Madam Abibata in your shots presented the cup to. So that is the cup that will be given to the winner of the maiden edition of the WAFU B Under 20 Girls Cup. That is tradition. When you come to the Ashanti region, this is their culture. That is the Adowa or the Kete dance. Chanting and then praising and saying thank you. This is how they lead them to the channel. This is how it's been done. We have the minister of the Ashanti region, Simon Osei Mensah, in your shots. So that is the cup. That is the enviable trophy that will be given to the winner. Who is going to take this trophy? The much awaited match is here. Ghana is taking on Nigeria, and then that is the enviable trophy. Esther, just look at that beautiful silver trophy in your shot in there. It's just an amazing atmosphere here, and the fans are coming in. They are trooping in to watch the final between Ghana and Nigeria. Our wives, and then is a rivalry match that is going to be. In your shot is the countries that came to represent. We had Ghana, Nigeria, Ghana being the host, Nigeria in there, Burkina Faso, Benin in there, and then Niger, Togo, and then Cote d'Ivoire in your flag. That is the flags that you've been seeing. On your shot is the Nigerian flag. We had the Burkina Faso, who just grabbed the third position, who will be coming on or bringing you live coverage of what is happening here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. This is the closing ceremony, and as in your shot, this is the Adowa being done, the culture of the Ashanti Kingdom. The drumming and dancing, exhibiting the culture. Esther, your views on what is happening on your screen right now?
A beautiful sight to behold for all the fans of football loving ones across the globe. Indeed, this is a sight. The tournament was hosted in the Garden City of Ghana. And when we talk of Garden City of Ghana, definitely it is the home of tradition. And that's the most reason why these dancers, clothed in the traditional kente cloth or apparel of the Ghanaian tradition, here vigorously dancing with a lot of exhibitions of the signs being made and brought to bear. And this is equally another trophy that is part of those that will be presented to tonight to the team that emerges victorious. So that is a dance of the traditional Ashanti dance, which is known as the Adowa dance, with a lot of symbols, a lot of, in terms of the symbols that she's making, demonstration, that of unity, that of welcome, that portraying Ghana to the world, that indeed Ghana is a welcoming country, that indeed embraces all and sundry. And that's the most reason why we have hosted this tournament and then shown to the world that the country is capable of ensuring that these and further tournaments in the future, just like it hosted the 2018 Women's African Cup of Nations, Ghana is capable of ensuring that they host other future tournaments so far as it's aimed at bringing together the continent through sports, precisely football.
That is the rich culture being exhibited here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. It's also entertainment. When you talk about sports, it goes along with entertainment. So we are not surprised seeing or exhibiting the rich culture of the Ashanti Kingdom. And then this is what we are seeing, dressed in their kente dress. But Esther, at the opening ceremony, we were also in that traditional attire. We should have done those moves a little bit for people to know we just came here just to perform, but that is just by the way. Today, at the closing ceremony, we have a different attire, and this is also another tradition from the north of the country, from the Gonja, as I could say. So don't forget that this is also another Ghanaian traditional dress being worn by the northern region precisely. So it's available and everybody is capable of wearing. We must say we are looking good. Esther, looking good in your fugu or batakari dress today at the Baba Yara.
I just love the fact that you yourself, you're trying to praise yourself for how you've looked. But then again, that is what the beauty of Ghanaian tradition is. We demonstrate to all and sundry that indeed it's not only in the Ashanti region, and as much as the home of tradition, it's here in the Ashanti region. We equally have other traditions that all of us embrace, all and sundry, because this is the same country, irrespective of the region or the tribe that you find yourself.
Okay, so this is how you have to do it. Just a little wrap up before your final prediction on this 2-match, Nigeria taking on Burkina Faso. Just a snap one and then you take your leave now.
I believe that this is quite a huge game, and it will be very difficult for me to predict. But what I can say is that a team that ends up being good on the day would emerge victorious.
Okay, so I beg your pardon. I said Burkina Faso is Ghana meeting Nigeria, and it is so. Esther will be taking the leave, and then you'll be hearing her from the commentary position. So this is how it's going to be. This is the locker room of the Ghanaian team. You have Seidu and then Esther Nyameche. In your shots, you have Amponsa Ameya Zakaria, and then we have Boachewa in your shot in the Fuseni Kulible in your, so, and then Amenyaku, the goalkeeper. The safe pair of hands for Ghana. So this is how Georgina Yoyem, and then you see Wasma dropping out of the bus. So this is how the Ghanaian players dropped down or arrived at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Others are being calm, cool, and collected. That is Mefi Anyame in your shorts, and then you have a couple of them just as they arrive at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. So all is set for this enviable trophy, who is going to be the maiden edition of WAFU Zone B Under 20 Girls Cup that is happening. Burkina Faso have already grabbed the bronze medal, It's up to Nigeria and then Ghana, who is taking that enviable trophy back home. Is it staying right here in Ghana, or is Nigeria taking it away? So that is the locker room of the Nigerians. This is how they become. They'll be coming onto the pitch with the forest green, the deeper green of them, and then this is how they are going to be. So this is how it's going to be like. So the locker room of the Nigerians, and then they have the forest green up and down to arrive onto the pitch. So it's going to be white and green and a green pitch today at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, where the final is being taking place. So the enviable, the moment has arrived. Look at them singing out and cheering, dancing, coming into the dressing room. This is how you see from your sports. But they already accompany themselves. They love music. They love to dance. They love to exhibit when they score. You see a lot of this on the page. When they score, when they are celebrating, when they are jubilating, you see them. And then sometimes they call on the girls. So on your screen now is the Ghanaian goalkeepers stretching up, making sure they are all poised for the final or much awaited match. So the Ghanaians in your shot right now, warming up before the commencement of the final. So Ghanaians doubling up, exercising, stretching, drills, and making sure they are all poised. I guess they'll be coming out confidently to face Nigeria. When it comes to Nigeria, it's a rivalry match, and I know there'll be totally different space. We are expecting a wonderful, a beautiful, a much free-flowing game here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. People have trooped in here. The supporters are around to cheer their teams to victory. Is it going to be Ghana hosting it, or is it host and win for Ghana, or is Nigeria who will be taking the trophy away? We already have the top goal scorer in their midst, in the person of Esther Opeyemi Ajakai, who is having 6 goals, and then the Burkinabe Naomi Adele Kabri also with 5 goals, and then the rest we have Esther also 4 goals, and then we have a couple of them, Mefia Nyame, and the rest 3 goals in there, and then they are just in Flores. Sebastian also have 3 goals, and Amina Bello also having 4 goals. So there are so many of them fighting to see any of them that could go past Esther Opeyemi if she doesn't have a good day. But all tournaments is being said, and I know the last match she never had, or she was never on target. But we'll see this final match. Will she be on target, or she will protect that 6 goal to take that top goal scorer back to Nigeria? So Nigeria in your shot, warming up exercise for them as well. They look all poised, the confidence, the charisma, the zeal. The Falconets are in for a business. This is them. You have Christopher Musa in your shots. Calm and wonderful atmosphere. Lovely evening here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium under the floodlights, where the final match of the WAFU Zone B U20 girls will be taking place. We are all waiting for that 90 minutes, or will it take us to extra times and penalty? As time will tell. So we are all set, and I'll be handing over to Esther Bankwa in commentary position to take us through the final match, Ghana versus Nigeria.
the biggest spectacle in this tournament for a journey that was started by 7 countries come to an end. Making it to the finals is an achievement on its own. This is the most glorified end. Hello, good evening for me, Esther Abankwa and Nafisa Fatal. Welcome to the Babara Sports Stadium for the climax of the WAFU Zone B Girls Cup between the Black Princesses of Ghana and the Falconets of Nigeria. Temperature 27 degrees. The countries come to a hold, and to football fans wherever you are watching from and making time for us for the next couple of hours as we crown a champion tonight for this tournament, we are grateful. This is a different tournament altogether, introduced by CAF, aimed at helping ladies who are below the age of 20 years to showcase to the world what they have for all and sundry to see, all aimed at developing the continent's football so far as women's football development is concerned. And that you have the home fans of the Black Princesses who are here quite clouded in their national colors, ready to support their team. On the other hand are these cheering fans who have traveled all the way from all and sundry, all to ensure that they are part of the history that is being made today here at the Babara Sports Stadium globally, as the world watches on, awaiting anxiously for this big game that would begin in the next few minutes. But how ready are these two teams heading into this prestigious grand finale? The fans have not been left out. Both the young, the old, the aged, all in numbers, including some officials of some clubs who are based in Ghana. This is, of course, women's football, to have sent the masses, including all gender, ready to support and cheer these two teams on to victory, tells you how far indeed women's football has developed across the continent. Having made a lot of preparations, and there you have the rank and file who matter the most in football, together with those that have played their dues in the past and are aspiring to equally ensure that they also come back and help in one way or the other, all of them in attendance. This is the Garden City of Ghana, if you just joined. And what makes it the most interesting aspect is the fact that we equally have other national team coaches who are here in their numbers. There you have Chris Houghton, the coach of Ghana's Black Stars, together with his team manager. They are here. The rank and file of WAFU, CAF, all in attendance. This is huge. This is the grand finale of the WAFU Zone B Under 20 Girls Cup. And in no time, these two teams would come onto the field. What are they ready to exhibit for us? Wherever you are, stay glued. This is the grand finale. The women's football, how far it has indeed evolved. Nigeria's flag and then that of Ghana. These are the two teams. It would interest you to know that both teams were made or were part of the recently held FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Costa Rica. Ghana's Black Princesses exited the tournament in the group stages, whereas their counterparts that they are going to play, the Falconets of Nigeria, reached the quarterfinals of the competition. This is the start of the two teams to have evolved in their respective groups, whereas Ghana, the host team, were based in Group A, paired with the likes of Ivory Coast and then Benin. And then in Group B, where Nigeria, who have made it to the grand finale, were paired with Niger, Burkina Faso and Togo. In the long run, Nigeria recorded 100% victory in terms of their start for their group, playing 3 matches, scoring 16 goals in the group stages. But look at where these fans have indeed turned up, and they have indeed sat down ready for this action. This is women's football being embraced by all. Ghana, on the other hand, who are the host nation, having been able in Group A to have beaten Benin in their opening game by beating them by 3-0. On the other hand, in their second game, Ghana equally beat Ivory Coast by 3-1. There, their stakes are high. walking on to the field to be greeted by this huge crowd. This is the WAFU Zone B Girls Cup. Stakes are high, both all and sundry. Those based in Ghana, based in Nigeria, those based across the continent, including participating teams who have exited the tournament, and even teams that recently, as the first game of the day, were involved. Burkina Faso and Benin, after their game, they are at the stadium to witness this game. Let's observe the national anthems of the two teams.
Let's all rise for the national anthem of Nigeria.
Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez vous lever pour l'hymne national du Nigeria.
While standing, let's listen to the national anthem of Ghana.
Et maintenant l'hymne national du Ghana.
As it states, and help us to resist oppressors' rule. That was the last statement. On the other hand, the Falconets of Nigeria in their anthem noted that arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey. This is a call to duty as they see it, and indeed they are ready to battle it. Whereas the other is saying, help us to resist. These are saying, arise, O compatriots. Indeed, a huge game. Before we get started, let's take a look at the starting lineups of the two teams. Starting with Ghana, Afi Amenyaku is in goal post for Ghana. Sarah Koulibaly, Fatimata Fuseni, Abena Adama Opoku, Comfort Diabua, Stella Nyameche, Success Hamia, Helen Alomenu, Comfort Owusu, Mefia Nyame, Pfizer Seidu. So 2 changes in the setup of Ghana's game that they played in the semi-final. This is how Coach Yusuf Bazigi has opted in order to square it off with the Falconets of Nigeria. And these are the referees who will be taking charge of today's game from different countries that have been put together. Burkina Faso, Benin, and Ivory Coast. That is the record of the countries that these referees hail from. Nigeria in green, captained by their tallest woman, and that is Oluchi, ready for this huge game. How prepared? What should the fans watching across see and expect from these two teams? Natasha Conan is taking charge of this huge game. They have deservedly found their way to be in this grand finale. Both teams. Stella Nyameche, the captain of Ghana's Black Princesses. Nigeria, on the other hand, have these charges ahead of the game. Adeline Igbechi will be in goal post for Nigeria. Chidima Ogbuchi, Shukurat Oladipo, Jumoke Alani Victoria, Oluchi Ohagbelem, Chinere Messi Kalu, Taiwo Afolabi, Esther Onyezide, Amina Bello, Flourish Sebastian, and then Esther Okpeyemi Ajakaye. This is how Nigeria in green have lined up for this huge game. And their coach, Christopher Danjuma Musa, the coach that led them to the quarter-final stage of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup that was held in Costa Rica. Ghana in white, Nigeria in green, and that is the coach of the Black Princesses of Ghana, Coach Yusuf Bazege. A lot is at stake. What should we expect?
Much anticipated match, and then this is how far these two teams have come, topping their group stages, going through the semi-finals, and then this is how it's going to be. Nigeria in forest green, Ghana in all white, on the pitch hotel on the 90th minute. So Esther will be doing us the honor to see how the commentary, the entire duration is going to be here.
Ready and eager. Esther Okpeyemi Ajakaye in your shot is the lady who is currently leading with 6 goals in this tournament. She had a hat-trick in the opener, and the second game she scored a single goal. In the third game she scored twice. So that has been her start. 6 goals in 4 games. In the semi-finals she wasn't fortunate to find the back of the net. A huge one for her to prove her worth in this remarkable game. Natasha Conan blows her whistle, and it's Ghana that gets this game underway. Ghana in their own half. Don't forget, this is WAFU Zone B, the grand finale that has been watched across the globe. Stella Nyamiche, after losing the ball, ends up reclaiming it, but that was temporal, and the first attempt is grabbed by Afi Amenyeku of Ghana. Afi with a long one in, but Oluchi Chidimma is there for Ghana. Helen Alomenu, a Siam Socrates player on the ascendancy. She's fouled, and this is an easy decision for the referee to make. Helen Alomenu, a pacey player who isn't afraid to take on Messi, and that was when Jumoke Alani brought her down. Free kick to the Black Princesses of Ghana at a very strategic place. Igbechi Adeline would have to defend this for Nigeria. Stella Nyameche, the tactician, a player that has scored 2 goals from dead ball situations of this nature, is behind the ball. Stella ready to effect as Ghana's Black Princesses hope to get the front lead in this game. It's on target, but Igbechi makes the first save without any threat at all.
This is the first time Ghana is pushing through the very first match of it. Anytime the build-up from Ghanaians is very slow, but this time around they are taking no chances, knowing the opponent, which is Nigeria, that they are playing with. Nigeria is yet to concede in this tournament.
Throwing quickly taken by Jumoke Victoria Alani. Messi Kalu Chinere with the first keeping away, managing to find Amina Bello. But it's well defended by Apena Anoma Opoku of Ghana's Black Princesses, and the Falconets get their first corner kick of the game. Who will take it? In their previous games, Esther has been taking all such dead ball situations for them, and she is the one behind it once again as they look forward to make this first corner kick in less than 5 minutes. Footfall. Esther already on 4 goals in this tournament, sent it in. Afi Amenyeku grabs on the other hand. So this is a tournament, a grand finale with a cup waiting to be grabbed. And if you look at the sense of urgency and alertness from the 2 goalkeepers involved, you would know that they are not ready to let their respective teams down. Throw in. Advantage going the way of the Black Princesses. 4 games, 9 goals for Ghana's Black Princesses. Nigeria, 4 games, 19 goals. Shukrat Oladipo with a long one aimed at finding Amina Bello, and Amina slips away, manages to send a few one in. Comfort Iyaboa had to rescue the Black Princesses, but this is what Amina Bello does. Already in this tournament, she has 3 goals. She skipped away with ease from Abena Anoma Opoku. Oluchi with a long throw in for Nigeria's Falconets. Another wall intercepted header from Sarah Koulibaly for Ghana's Black Princesses. Corner kick. And that is how the Nigerians have been playing their respective games. They build up in some situations slowly, and then they try to grab it along the way. Corner kick for the Falconets. Afi restless. They opt for the short one. Flourished Sebastian. It's fouled right on the edge of the penalty area. Another free kick to the Falconets of Nigeria. Flourish skipped away from Helen Alomenu before she was brought down by Comfort Owusu, who has today replaced Wasima Mohammed in this game. Free kick coming the way of Nigeria. Esther right behind, who has fancied to effect it for them. Esther to take the free kick. How good have the Black Princesses covered the pockets of spaces. Esther with a free kick right across the face of goal. Afi gathers.
Afi is well alert in this match. She has been a bit slow, but this time around she knows what awaits her, so she's very cool, calm, and with the communication between she and the defenders is really working out well. They need to make sure they take chances and make sure they defend well into their half. Either than that, they will be punished. There's much more pressure on them than they need to become at this situation.
Nigeria's player Esther Okoyemi Ajakaye with the first through pass. Goal kick. And Esther Okoyemi Ajakaye, a player who is very good with 6 goals so far, and she is a striker for Robo Queens in Nigeria's Women's League. Goal kick for Ghana's Black Princesses. Afi effect. Fatimata went free kick for Ghana as the clock gets to its 10th minute. The scoreline remains goalless. Supporters of the Ghana Black Princesses in their numbers. Stella Nyameche wins Ghana free kick. And today's contest in the heart of midfield for the two teams. Helen Alomenu, Stella Nyameche, and Success Amia. These are the midfielders for Ghana. Mercy Chinere Kalu. Great save from Ingbechi of Nigeria. Jumoke Alani Victoria, but Fatimata intercepts beautifully. Oluchi with a follow-up, and that will be thrown in. Not too much of clear-cut chances being created by these two teams in the early minutes.
Nigerians have doubled up. They are yet to concede, meaning their defense is solid, and then their discipline when it comes to the heart of defense. This is the time we will see if Ghana is able to open up the defense of the Nigerians.
Amina Bello for Nigeria raises her head, locates Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye, who is in the half of Ghana, and her effort is blocked by Helen Alomenu. But Esther keeps it alive for the Nigerians, taking her time to lure The players of the Black Princesses from their goal post. Comfort Yeboah heads it off to safety. Another attempt. Free kick. A tactical foul on Helen Alomenu, a player of Esiam Socrates, a Premier League team in Ghana. And that was the free kick that she won. She is a winger. In the just ended season in the Ghana Women's Premier League, she scored 8 goals for her team. They were debutants, but they came and cemented their position, and that is all thanks to the exploit of this 19 jersey player of the Black Princesses of Ghana. 10 minutes and it's still goalless. Stella Nyamiche, a player of Ghana, the captain, has been offended too.
Alomenu has come of age, no doubt. She was the discovery of the season at the Ghana Women's Premier League 2022-2023 season, and she has fit in perfectly for this tournament. She has the power, she has the drive, she has the confidence. When she's playing, she doesn't seem to be intimidated at all.
Free kick. Fatimata winning it for Ghana. Free kick swiftly taken. Comfort Yeboah. Meetings involving these two teams have always turned out to be quite a different one. Aminat Bello to Flourish Sebastian. Taiwo Afolabi of Nigeria. Messi Kalu to Jumoke Alani Victoria. And that is where they involve Esther in this build-up. Jumoke sent it in, and it's once again intercepted by Fatimata Fuseni. Helen Alomenu for Ghana manages to find Comfort Owusu, but Aminat Bello drops and ensures that that ball and that attack is neutralized before any further havoc is caused. Throwing quickly taken. Comfort Yeboah, Success Amia, and Comfort to Success, but Nigeria with that liberty of clearing without any form of difficulty. The road to the grand finale for Nigeria. In their opening game, they beat Niger by 7 goals to 0. In their second game, they beat Togo by 6 goals to 0. And in their third game, they beat Burkina Faso by 3 goals to 0. In their semis, they beat Benin by 3 goals. Here they are at the grand finale. 19 goals in 4 games. Free kick. Comfort Yeboah ready to effect it for Ghana, and Nigeria would have to defend this. Impechi issuing instructions to her players. Comfort Yeboah swings it in, but it eludes every player of Ghana. Goal kick. Goalless after 12 minutes, but that was the free kick that was taken by Comfort Yeboah. She attempted locating her captain, Stella Nyamiche, who is on 3 goals already in this tournament.
So looking at the height of the Nigerians, I was expecting Comfort Yeboah to just lay a pass on for them to launch on it, but all the same, it could be any mistake. Lashing on to a giant Nigerians in the heart of defense, difficult to get the ball head on.
Aminat Bello, but the ball has crossed the line. Throw in. Ghana is in their road to the grand finale of this tournament. They beat Benin in their opener by 3 goals to 0. In the second game, they beat Ivory Coast by 3 goals to 1. In the semis, they beat Burkina Faso by 3 goals to 1. And in all the 3 games that they have played, they have scored 9 goals and conceded 2 goals. Stella Nyamiche and Mefia Nyame happen to be their top scorers so far. Each of these 2 players all on 3 goals. Goal kick. Afi to take for Ghana. If you look at the years that football was introduced in the respective countries of these two teams, you would marvel at how far all of them have come as time progressed. Esther, but it's handball against Esther. And today, Helen Alomenu is double taxing as assigned by the coach. She has indeed been helping the defense a lot more than in the previous games that she played. Goal kick, Afi to effect it. To have been both at the World Cup. But then, if we look at Nigeria's Falconets, Christopher Danjuma took them to the quarterfinals of the World Cup for FIFA Under-20 Women's Edition. On the other hand, it wasn't Coach Yusuf Bazigi, the current coach, that took Ghana's Black Princesses. It was a different coach that took them all together for this tournament. Free kick. Ben Foucault leading Ghana at that tournament for FIFA World Cup, but here it's Yusuf Bazigi. And these two teams have interesting. Esther Flores Sebastian. She's proud away in a very lovely manner from Abenano Mopoku. Messi Chinere with a long one in. Fatimata Fusaini wasn't taking chances at all. She knew that Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye was lurking behind her. Headed it up to safety. Corner kick for Nigeria. And Esther would take it for the team. Esther opted for the short one as well, sent back to her. She sent a good delivery in, right across, just a whisker away. Flores Sebastian, who was lurking at the other far end of the goalpost, couldn't get a head on to that delivery. A wonderful one it was.
That was a direct kick that we have to be worrying about. This is how the Nigerians operate, especially when it comes to Esther and her crosses. When it gets from the free kick and then the corner kick, she's that dangerous, and she has that brilliance. She has someone that she directs the ball to. We have to be wary of that. There is pressure coming on us, and then we'll have to see how it is. It's getting too deep into it, and then Ghanaians will have to be very cautious in defending. You will have to defend deep, but you need to push forward and search forward as well.
Helen Alomanu escapes away from Jumoke, but Captain Oluchi was right, spotted at a very good position. Flourish Sebastian. Twist and turns. Retakes the pass. Flourish with a good one. Trying to find Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye. Alani Victoria, but Fatimata intercepts. Ghana Success Amia gets free kick, and not much have been seen so far from Success Amia. This is a player that was adjudged the MVP in Ghana's game against Ivory Coast, and today not much has been seen from Success Amia. Comfort Iyaboa with a free kick. Ogbeyemi heads it. Bello with Sarah Koulibaly, and Bello manages to get the ball. Esther Ogbeyemi miscues, and Afi Amanyaku saves Ghana to deny Esther Ogbeyemi from getting her 7th goal in this tournament. Messi Chinere back to Esther. Corner kick. Corner kick for Nigeria. Another one for the Ghanaians to defend. Once again, it's a short one taken. Afi Amenyoku at the heart of affairs once again for Ghana. And Esther raised their head, all aimed at finding a very good slot. Afi had it covered. And don't be too surprised, Esther Onyezide, a player of Robo Queens at the recently held World Cup, she scored 3 goals for the Falconets of Nigeria. Oluchi, free kick to Nigeria. And Amina Bello, Niger Rattles, a player born on the 18th of December 2005. Already on 3 goals in this tournament. Free kick. Messi. Kalu to take it for Nigeria. And what and how capable is she? Eweska will go kick 20 minutes and it's still goalless.
Nigerians have been piling pressure on the Ghanaians. It's up to the Ghanaians to organize their defense and make sure they get through the midfield, hold on to the ball calmly, and then they build up from there. But as it stands, it's Nigerian who are making the clear-cut incursion. They want to secure or record the first goal in this match.
Comfort the Abua for Ghana. Chidimma covers and manages to find Oluchi, the captain of the Falconets. Oluchi gets the pass back from Chidimma and the end a throw. If you just joined, you are watching a live coverage of the grand finale of the WAFU Zombie U20 Girls Cup, being brought to you live on Max TV, kind courtesy of IMAX Media. And this tournament, an inaugural one, is aimed at helping girls under the age of 20 to have the rare opportunity of selling to the world what they were brought up with in terms of their talent. Stella Nyameche escapes away in beauty. Comfort Owusu for Ghana with a nice flick to success, who delayed a bit in getting it for the Ghanaians. And that paved the way for Chidimma Oguchi to clear it off to safety for the Falconets. Throw in. Amina Bello fouled. And today, Sarah Koulibaly has really a tough job on her hands. And that task is to ensure that Amina Bello only adds up to the number. But you ask yourself, a sensational player of that nature who scored 2 goals for the Falconets in the quarterfinals and in the World Cup in general, how well can you tame such a player? Messi with that attempt, but it wasn't on target. 22 minutes. The scoreline is still remain goalless. Which of these two teams will break the deadlock? Afi is the most busiest of the goalkeepers, who has been forced to make very crucial saves in order to ensure that the Nigerians have been kept at arm's length.
Good match for the Ghanaians as well, but as I said, they are defending too deep into their half. They are yet to open up and see how it's going to be. Nigerians are having a holiday. They are taking the midfield to be their own. They are dominating from the midfield, and then Flores and Bello are being the players Ghanaians will have to be worried about, because they are skillful, they have the pace, the strength, and then the skills that they have is very tricky for the Ghanaians to handle. It's either you commit a foul or you will have to be wary of them.
Comfort Owusu delayed in setting up Stella Nyamiche. Nigeria cover up that space. Sarah Koulibaly to Comfort Iyaboa. And Comfort Iyaboa wins a free kick. Taiwo Afolabi was the one who committed that foul. Free kick to Nigeria. Taiwo Afolabi, Delta Queens midfielder, who was very instrumental in the team's success for this season in the Nigerian Women's Super League. Free kick. Igbechi would have to defend this mightily for the Falconets, and it's a success. Esther and Amina Bello, all of them have dropped to help their defenders. Comfort Iyaboa. Free kick to Nigeria. And Comfort knew that she can't allow her to skip away from her, because she has that pace. Flourish, the player fouled. Nigeria's Falconets made their first appearance in FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in 2002. And since their first appearance, they have made it a point to qualify for every edition of FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. A decision made by Natasha baffles some of the fans who thought that should be rather an advantage for their team. Free kick. Mercy Kalu. And Afi has another task at hand. How well would Messi take this off target once again? Mercy Kalu has scored from such a long range in their second game, but this was nowhere close to where the goalpost was.
Always you have numbers in the Ghanaian half, and they need to make sure they also hold the ball. They have been so slow when they are building up. Anytime they have the ball, instead of them having time or taking their time to give out the right passes, they are always in a rush to give out the ball, and this is not helping the Ghanaian team. They will have to make sure, because there's pressure on them. When there's pressure on you, you have to calm down nerves and then make sure you distribute your passes carefully. Either than that, with a tiny little mistake will cost you dearly.
No room for fraction of errors in this grand finale. Throw in to the Ghanaians. Nigeria coach of the Black Princesses of Ghana, Yusuf Bazigi, who happens not to be enthused with some kind of performance from his players. He's expecting a lot more than what they are doing. Look at how he is going all over, reiterating, re-imbibing into them what he wants to see. He's doing that together with his assistant, Jonah Nadakwa. On the other far end as well, Christopher Danjuma Musa, the coach of the Falconets of Nigeria, is equally having a word with his team. Whereas the two coaches and technical teams are busy doing this, the fans are equally busy enjoying themselves. But what would make them most delighted is to have a goal. But which of these two teams will give us the first goal in the grand finale of this inaugural WAFU Zombie U Girls Cup being held in the Garden City of Ghana? Jumoke Alani for Mercy Kalu and Faiza Seidu has been barely passive in the game. She gets to get involved this time around for the Black Princesses. Helen Alomenu to Comfort Owusu. And Comfort is trying to lure Taiwo Afolabi. She manages to send a cross and a delivery into the half. Goal kick. Goal kick for the Falconets of Nigeria. That was how Comfort Owusu started with a build-up and managed to send a delivery, of which Jumoke and Shukrat Aladipo cleared off for the Nigerians.
You could see how the defense of the Nigerians positioned themselves when the attack was being built on. You could see them defending and making sure they had every space to cover on the ground. No wonder Ghanaians didn't even communicate well in the box. They're still in a rush. That's what I'm saying. The Ghanaians need to be calm. In and around the box, you need that composure to make sure you make it count.
Nigeria with a chance to get the first goal, and that is well saved by Afi. That save is applauded by the fans of the Ghanaians who are here. But there has been a collusion involving Afi and Flourish Sebastian. Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye started that build-up. And it's corner kick. Afi Amenyeku of Ghana, their goalkeeper, has been attended to. It's half hour mark, 30 minutes. Ghana 0, Nigeria 0. Yusuf Bazigi having a word with Helen Alomenu. And Esther Ogbeyemi is cheering her teammates on. Christopher Danjuma Musa, he knows that this is a huge game. Prior to the game, he stated that there would be that home advantage for the Ghanaians. But he was ready to square it off because he had a very good team that has indeed lived up to the billing and expectation in all the games that he have played. Just when he ended saying that, and there you have the team of Burkina Faso. After their game, they stayed behind, waiting to get their medals before they leave. Yusuf Bazigi, the coach of Ghana's Black Princesses, also stated that he knew that the weakness of his team was the striking department, but they have made the necessary corrections to avoid such occurrence in this grand finale. Corner kick taken by Esther, a header by Helen Alomenu, with a follow-up by Stella Nyameche and Jumoke with another one. Oluchi and Amina Bello. It's goal kick. Amina Bello. That was the build-up initially from Chidima Oguchi. And the chance for handball, which fell on deaf ears because the referee spotted vividly how events unfolded in that particular build-up. Throw in, and for the first time in this tournament, the Nigerians have been held very well and prevented from scoring in almost 35 minutes of the game. That hasn't been the story for them. They always score maximum in the 20th minute. They will get their first goal. And this makes it a very beautiful grand finale.
Ghanaians are living dangerously. Nigerians keep knocking, they keep asking questions, and Ghanaians have all it takes to make sure they defend their lines and defend well. Not to defend, but also just to calm yourself down and see how this was
Corner kick taken. Fatimata clears for Ghana. Oluchi and Mefia Nyame. This is the first involvement, major one for her. Stella Nyameche for Ghana. Great interception all the way from Amina Bello. Ikbechi gathers. Goal kick to Nigeria. Ghana's Black Princesses. The captain of the team, Stella Nyamiche, made a clarion call to Ghanaians prior to this particular grand finale. She called on all loving fans and Ghanaians in general to support her team. She stated that they needed the number 12. And looking at the fans that have come here, you would say that the fans did not disappoint. They heeded to that clarion call of the Ghanaian captain and came in numbers.
Looking at this, Esther, the fans here is amazing, and you can see they are cheering the Ghanaians or any of them into victory, because this is where the Nigerians are making their incursion and pushing, asking questions. Ghanaians are defending dangerously, but they will still have to defend more and more. Nigerians' defense has been free. They have had holidays in general. If you look at it, just one or two balls that had gone to them, but they are able to deal with it calmly. But they should be wary, because who knows where extra will be coming from.
Mefia Nyame, the other top scorer of the Ghanaians, goes into the books of the referee for that challenge on Esther. And that is the first booking of the game in 35 minutes. Ghana 0, Nigeria 0. Free kick for Nigeria. And Esther is busy arranging her defense well, because her area is well flooded. Esther takes it. She goes for the low drive, and that goes straight into the gloves of goalkeeper Afi without any struggles. And that explains the reason why she was arranging her defenders well before that kick was taken. And Afi has indeed helped her team with those crucial saves. She hasn't conceded, and that is a huge plus for her team. Stella Nyamiche for Ghana. Helen Alomenu to Mefia Nyame. Mefia Nyame sends a very good delivery. Kamford Owusu. And it's a penalty to the Ghanaians for a challenge on Kamford Owusu. And look at that, how that decision is well celebrated by the Ghanaian fans. They are happy. Flourish Sebastine, the striker, just when she wanted to help her defenders, have rather become the villain. She gets a yellow card and gives away a penalty. Huge opportunity for the home team to get the first goal. Who will take this for the Ghanaians? Approaching the 40th minute. A very not the best of tackles from Flourish Sebastine of Nigeria. Penalty for the Ghanaians, and Comfort Yeboah, the dead ball specialist of the Ghanaians, who plays for, she wasn't the one who takes it, Stella Nyamiche, and scores. Another dead ball specialist, Stella Nyamiche, puts the Ghanaians in the lead from the spot kick. But the referee has ordered for a retake after a protest from the Ghanaians. referee indicated that there was a form of movement and invasion into the 18-yard box, and as such a retake should be done. So Igbechi has the second opportunity to save, but once again the same spot, Stella Nyamiche does it in a tantalizing manner for the Ghanaians, and that takes her tally to 4 goals. The young player, less than 18 years, is a coach, a CAF licensed D coach. Stella Nyamiche on target, a captain that has indeed led by example from that dead ball situation, and that same spot, Igbechi couldn't save that in order to ensure that the scoreline remains the same. 40 minutes, the dead ball specialist and the captain of the Ghanaians, Stella Nyamiche, gets the first goal for her team.
Look at that pass, that intelligent pass that Mefia Nyame crossed over to Comfort Owusu. Comfort Owusu was inside the box, made no mistake. Sebastian Flourish had to stop that attack, making sure she commits a foul. This has led to a spot kick, and Ghana has beautifully converted it. At the point in time when it was a retake, I was having my doubts that this captain could go on and score, but still calming her nerves down and placing it at the same spot. Now, Obuchi has conceded in this very tournament.
For the first time in this game, Nigerians are trailing in this entire tournament. They have never trailed, but they would have to come back from behind if they would want to fight for the title. Corner kick for the Nigerians. Another one, and Esther fails to come up with one of the best of corner kicks that she does. Throw in, and Helen Alomenu steals the ball off. Comfort Owusu to Stella Nyamiche, and Taiwo Afolabi goes into the books of the referee for another yellow card and a foul on Stella Nyamiche. And this is where Taiwo Afolabi clipped into Stella Nyamiche. She gets a booking for that. Taiwo Afolabi, the Delta Queens midfielder. That was quite unnecessary tackle. But these Ghanaians and these fans that have made their way to the Baba Sports Stadium are leaving no stone unturned in terms of celebrating the lead that their team has gotten. Free kick for the Ghanaians. Helen Alomenu. Victoria Ajumoke to Amina Bello. And the decision, once again, the Ghanaians get the decision in their favor. So 2 changes in the Ghanaian team. Comfort Owusu started, and Wasma Mohammed today was rested. Mefia Nyame. Another throw-in for the Nigerians. The grand finale of the WAFU Zombie U20 Girls Cup. Stella Nyamiche of Ghana. Comfort Owusu with Pfizer Seidu, and they still find their way motioning forward. Mefia Nyame joins the attack. Fatimata back to Stella Nyamiche, and the Ghanaians are now delighting their fans. Comfort Iabua to Comfort Owusu by throw in. throw in for the Nigerians. Oluchi will take that for the team. It's free kick to Ghana with just 2 minutes to end the opening period of this game. It's Ghana 1, Nigeria 0. Chidimma, success. Mefia Nyame's attempt is blocked. She gets the advantage of the rebound. Mefia against Victoria Alani. Success. And it's foul against Success. And it was Esther that had that decision for that pool. Success is fortunate for that pool of that jersey. It might happen on the blind side of the referee. Some of the offenses that referees in recent times are not always delighted with. Jumoke Victoria Alani for Nigeria. Fatimata with a clearance, and it will be 3 minutes of additional time. A grand finale involving the Falconets of Nigeria and the Black Princesses of Ghana. They are fighting for the title, for the cash prize, for the bragging rights. Afi Amenyaku, Ghana are still enjoying a clean sheet and a precious lead, all thanks to the wonderful saves that were made by these young girls earlier in the game, when the Nigerians were very resilient and relentless in their pursuit of getting the goal. Opeyemi Ajakaye Esther gets a free kick. Opeyemi Ajakaye on 6 goals in this tournament. Victoria Alani with that free kick. Stella Nyameche and Comfort Owusu gets the ball. The captain Oluchi makes amends, get possession back for the Falconets. Messi Kalu to Jumoke Victoria Alani. Fatimata of Hazakes with that hyperbole clearance. A minute left to end proceedings for the first period. Faiza Seidu with Chidimma Obuchi. Messi Kalu to Oluchi, the captain of the Nigerians. But Comfort intercepts. Nigeria, Amina Bello. And Stella Nyamiche with that flick on of a pass for Faiza Seidu. Only for Jumoke Alani. Victoria to Claire. That is how tournament is. And that's what football is all about. The uncertainties that surround the game. Football is pregnant with uncertainties. And that is what we are witnessing. Natasha, the center referee, and proceedings for the first period. And it is the Black Princesses of Ghana who have taken the head start in this game through this player of the Stella Nyamiche, the captain. Less than 18 years. She is a coach as well. A coach license D who is currently pursuing her license C in coaching. And the Nigerians are trailing for the first time in this tournament with goals scored by Stella Nyamiche. The zeal, the drive, the determination, the anger, and everything that this game gave in the opening half was for all to see. First half ends, Ghana 1, Nigeria 0.
Everybody knows acrobato. And if you know acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. As an international journalist and actor, my health is my priority. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar in terms of my health. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Sister, please, let him talk to you. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na say problem is wom. Ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa. Na me kwan point no mo hwe me mogya mu no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro a me faae no ene ma won kra me enu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba. Ti ani je dia ba fie pa.
You heard everything yourself.
Me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante. And then call endpoint or mama nura and then the white dear what me sorry ananti.
That's endpoint for you. Of acrobato. Hello. Hey, what chair? Okay. A free bra with the endpoint what dance. I'm a choir no. Me Johnson say my name Koye and person my name and then me Gina Sabema. Now me be here for the one in Jarisa. You heard everything. I have secret. Endpoint is my secret. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Me sorry anopa enam se me din nafa lady clean siesie me hunti no eni chi a me di sorry efrimpam eye sonko adwuma mu nso me to make come me ho eye adwuma yie sane yese enam se me din nafa lady clean eni siesie me ho pesa me po adwuma Kika or the befie edem. Me stretch your cry and nam se me the Nafa Lady Clean and the me home. Nafa Lady Clean, a feminine hygiene washer. A bois esesi oba wahimfi. Omra won't think of one idea. Nafa Lady Clean. Feel confident with Nafa Lady. This advert has been vetted and approved by.
Hey, catch it. Don't boss you. I don't want anything to go wrong on my baby's day. Yeah, in fact, wash them anymore.
Hey, subhanallah.
If it hey, I'm already wearing a pad. Can I relax? No, my day is ruined, you guys. You don't understand.
Take this.
Everyone is talking about it. It has a super soft cotton feel.
I've lived and lived, but not you, my daughter. This is Reflow sanitary pads. They are heavy pads, have 4 wings to prevent leakages.
Once a Reflow Senkai, it's up to 10 hours of absorbency. The diapers are what JJ uses.
And no one am a depot manu na a strong cry.
See.
Gainike Yede nchia stronko free Iona Pharmacy mamunyina. Yede Gainike syrup aba. Gainike eboa eyi afichikro emu haw ahodo te se afichikro a emayi de etutusi basabasa ene afichikro mu yaw ahodo no nyina efiri hokra. Gainike boa ema atenka akofem no san pija ne mu yie pa. Gainike boa yema menomu a wanya menopause. Eho haw ahodo te se ohonam a ehyehyew na eyira wo no abufuo atete ene de atete saa no nyina. Gainike brena sekra adrei enkoda oni mfie edumienu entumi mfabi obenya bi ewo pharmacy license chemical shop ana herbal shop a eben mu pendodo atu a frɛ Iona Pharmacy. Gainike ebeye wo de FDA ahwehwe adwadie nkratoe mu agye atum se eye
Onyankopa cha doctor cha baby. Mama nyare wasu tu mi pa.
afei na twere ensem a ese moni dua na ba mfa na haban ensa yale no abamu Dr. Tam da so ama oyalefo bia nya enida so se ne yale befire ne so wo ebra wode nani akyerem wo medimafo heba clinic oyalefo ba ho na ohye na ebra empa ho gise de wawuo ana wasie no nko na ontumi abubuafo enante anifrafo esna panie stroke diabetes pressure ne yale enkan ne nyina aye entatia case wasiesie na yaresa bia ho kama doctor se fakakra bi beje wayaresa wo kumase abuakwa ago oyalefo bia kaise udimafo ye medimafo heba clinic Dr. Time daso
Tuozafi ina kuke kuna dansoman da kuman awoshi kaneshi madina shukura kakudam
Ewo Max TV forecourt Dakuman Junction 1st of July Unia Bramian Didi
Damu in Tozafi Festival kowe zomu enjoy so say
ni awuhia ne wayuwa
keji oyeje ni oliako oli Tozafi homo ojuba ba ni obajie owana
Saturday 1st of July if we are not 9 cause here we are 2 p.m. Max TV Dakuman Junction Beji Wadiane
ni keji o ni ohoni yeje menwe kona mane ni ochawo
achedien so yanyo to 4
so mushi abinchi
Bramian Didi
si iwa kume mmeja benshamiare wa oda papa de odina.
It's halftime here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium where Ghana leads Nigeria by a goal to 0. It was a drive that you didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. I don't think somebody saw it coming. It was Nigerian pushing down Ghana, pushing them, pinning them down to their own half, and it was just a quick that resulted into a penalty that Ghana beautifully converted it. Here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, this is where Ghana taking the commanding lead into the first half of it. I have here Na Amanwa to delve into the very first half. Na, good evening.
Good evening.
Beautiful atmosphere.
Very.
Ghana is leading Nigeria by a long goal to 0. Do you think it's the first reflection of the first half, as you've seen?
The first half has been exciting. Throughout the tournament, we've seen that both sides, Nigeria and Ghana, have been a very strong side from both groups. And today that both of them are meeting, I mean, it was a very tough first half for Ghana in the very starting minutes of the game. But going into the 30th, 40th minute, I could see that now the conversation, the teamwork from the Ghanaian side was working. That's how we saw Stella, we saw Comfort all working together to get that goal. So the penalty was not just anything of coincidence, but it was well planned thing from the Ghanaian side.
Looking at the Nigerians, how they have managed to build up through the midfield and then the attacking poise, Ghanaians were able to contain them in the very early minutes up to the final end. It's our goalkeeper who has been workaholic all the time.
Very great.
But here is the case, it's a turnaround. And this is the first time Nigeria are conceding in this tournament. What really went to it that UC Basigi girls made sure they had to go through all the drills that they went through going up by goal.
So if you were watching the game at I think the 38th minute, we saw Yusuf Basigi now laying instructions to Comfort at the back, telling her what to do. So regardless of the fact that, I mean, Nigeria hasn't conceded any goal throughout the tournament, there are always instructions that changes the beauty of the game at some point in time. So I'm not surprised that Nigeria are down by a goal.
This is obviously the first time. I would also say first time because every time is the first time for Nigeria.
Yes.
They have not conceded in this tournament. This was a match for them to make sure we see that kind of Nigeria teamwork that is going on. And obviously we've seen that teamwork. They were pushing Ghana down. But what did Ghana exploit to get that spot kick? Because getting a spot kick is not by fluke.
No,
you have to work for it. But look at the passes that resulted in that penalty kick.
Yeah.
What do you make of that kick from Mefi Anyame?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, that it's all teamwork. At a point, we now saw how they were playing according to instructions. You saw the passes, they were taking advantages of their passes, and that's what led to the penalty, obviously. So I think at the end of the day, it's teamwork and it's conversations amongst themselves, because at some point, I believe that the Nigerians lost that particular conversation amongst themselves.
So this was how Ghana stated and settled in to defend deep into their own half before Nigeria exploiting all the spaces. But at least we had a goalkeeper who was calm to make sure she does all the safe pairs for Ghana in the system. But Flourish, who committed the penalty, has been instrumental and a thorn of a flesh in the Ghanaian half since the first incursion, whipping in crosses, making sure. But how does it able to go and defend, and then that clumsy tackle? Would you say sometimes the best player of the day commits such blinder?
I mean, yes, obviously, our most skillful players sometimes do not live up to expectation at certain crucial moment. Taking it back to the Bafouaka game where we saw the most skillful one miss the penalty. So it's not surprising to see that, but obviously, once Ghana is in the lead, that is the most important thing for them right now.
Looking at our captain who took the penalty, first penalty was taken, referee said no, you have to retake it again. What do you make of such players who take a penalty, make sure picking the same spot?
Mental toughness, she has that. For you to take it the first time you didn't miss, the second time you didn't miss. I mean, she's really, really good. Mental toughness, instructions, all that working for her today.
What are we expecting in the second half from both teams?
Personally, for me, I think they should hold on to the ball. Even if it ends in a 1-0, that is it for Ghana.
Are Ghana able to do that?
Most definitely. Looking at the pressures they had early in the first half, I mean, they can do that.
What should Nigeria be able to do to make sure they equalize and come up?
You think I should say that? But I mean, if they liaise with themselves, I mean, conversate with themselves, follow instructions, maybe they can get back into the game.
Nigerians have got in-depth, they've got experience. When we come to the under-20, they have been to all levels. This time around, coming up as a wounded lion in the second half. Seeing that cup, that beautiful trophy out there, do you think Nigeria will settle in?
No, I think Ghana is being hosted here, an advantage actually even for them. So Ghana will do all they have to do in the second half to keep it.
Okay, so Esther, in commentary position, will be taking us through the next 45 minutes here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium.
Welcome back to the Baba Yara Sports Stadium as the grand finale of the WAFU Zombie U20 Girls Cup live on Max TV. We had quite a very entertaining and intriguing first half, but that first half was won in terms of the score line by the Ghanaians. Ghana 1, Nigeria 0. They had the goal from the spot kick, which was beautifully converted by the captain of the Ghanaian team, Stella Nyameche. Second half about to start in earnest, and this is where these two teams would have to let everyone here see what these coaches retreated during the recess for the teams. In the second half, Nigeria in green playing from left to right, and Ghana in white in the second half playing from right to left. Faiza Seidu with a lovely exchange of pass with Stella Nyameche. Stella dashing forward, takes her time just when Helen Alomenu wanted to get to that ball. The Nigerians cleared. Esther Onyedize unable to pick that ball. It gets back to the captain, who manages to find Victoria Jumoke Alani. Free kick. Natasha blows a whistle, and the free kick is given the way of the Ghanaians. Esther just stays on, watching the referee. She seems very baffled at the decision. Saved by Ingbechi of Nigeria. Nigerians trailing in this tournament for the first time. Prior to this grand finale, they were in a very sensational and fascinating form, not conceding a goal in 4 games. That is huge. Amina Bello runs into traffic with Helen Alomenu finding her captain, and the Ghanaians Comfort Owusu with that lovely turn. Helen and Comfort would prefer to get the throw rather for her team. Helen for the Ghanaians with a long range one in, and Mefia Nyame manages to get to the end of the ball. Success to Stella Nyamiche, whose first touch was poor for the first time. So much uncharacteristic of her. And Stella, it's a very good definition of if you are good enough, it means you are old enough. Her level of IQ for football, the intelligence that she has for football is unprecedented for her age. 17 years. Very good. She had a transition, was part of the players of Ghana's Black Maidens that were given a smooth transition into Ghana's under-20 team, just as it was done for the Falconets of Nigeria. Most of these players were players of the Flamingos who have equally gotten transition into the under-20, which is the Falconets. And Fatimata, after taking a slip and looking at how Amina was running to the ball, decided to opt for safety as a first precautionary measure. Free kick to Nigeria. And the free kick will be taken by Mercy Chinere Kalu for the Nigerians. She was the player who had the MVP in the semi-finals when the Nigerians played against Benin. Free kick, and Messi manages to find Esther. Esther looping away, and that block from Mefia Nyame. So the tactics today being deployed by Coach Yusuf Bazigi is the all defend, all attack one. And that's the most reason why Mefia Nyame, a player that was expected to be up front, has dropped so much deeper to force a corner out of that one. Success glares. Sarah Kulibli, another attempt, not on target. Goal kick with 50 minutes on the dot, and it was Taiwo Afolabi who came up with that attempt. Taiwo Afolabi, a very good defensive midfielder who plays for Delta Queens and was very instrumental for her team in the just ended season. Delta Queens would equally be playing the Super 6 in Nigeria. Esther Ubeyemi Ajakaye for Nigeria. Afi Goddess for Ghana. The exploits of the Falconets, all these two teams are special in their own way. They have very enviable records on their own. Nigeria's biggest defeat in international tournament was the 6-0 defeat that they suffered in the hands of Japan at the Papua New Guinea World Cup in 2016. Free kick to Nigeria. Abena Anoma Opoku committed that foul, and the Nigerians would have this free kick to counter on in their pursuit of getting the equalizer. Afi with another one to defend, and Messi takes it. Quite a poor one taken by Messi. Another great header from Fatimata Husseini. Oluchi for the Nigerians. Sarah Koulibaly to Stella Nyamiche, who controls in an exquisite manner. Success is caught in between possession. Abena Anoma Opoku. And there, Abena Anoma Opoku, who seems to have been given a very late challenge there by Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye of Nigeria. And the advantage, referee, her attention was drawn to her by her assistant. And Abena Anoma Opoku, who missed Ghana's game in the semi-finals, due to injury, has recovered and is doing so much well defensively today for the Ghanaians. In her absence, Rose Boachua took over that mantle. Mercy Kalu to Chidima. Taiwo Afolabi back to Shukrat Oladipo, who hasn't really been seen much in this game. She hasn't featured that most as she has done in her previous games. Ogbeyemi Ajakaye, and it's free kick to the Ghanaians. The reaction alone from Abena Anoma Opoku, an expression of her displeasure for that foul by Esther Ogbeyemi on her. Free kick to the Ghanaians. 55 minutes. Ghana still holding on to the lead that they had from that spot kick. Ghana 1, Nigeria 0.
Esther is not having a good day today as she had in the semi-finals. She has been man-marked by just two people that Abna is not giving her the space to make sure she gets her way to even get her on target. So Esther is now living dangerously, and because of that she's getting angry and then making or committing fouls in and around when she's not supposed to.
Helen Alomenu manages to get corner kick for the Ghanaians, and Oluchi was the one who was so much radically defending that ball from Helen Alomenu. Stella Nyamiche will take this corner kick for the Ghanaians. Stella floats it in. Igbechi, another corner kick. Igbechi, who hasn't really been so much tested in this entire tournament. Before this grand finale, the first attempt wasn't successful, and in the second one, she runs into Comfort Yebua, who was lurking at the far end of the goalpost with intent. But Igbechi is still not fully recovered to continue for the Nigerians. WAFU Zone B U20 Girls Cup, the grand finale. Coach of Ghana's Black Stars, Chris Houghton, and his team manager, Aminu Shadow, in attendance. The rank and file of Ghana football very much represented here. Stella Nyamiche to take the corner kick for the Ghanaians. And that means Nigeria would have to come up with very brilliant defending, just as Taiwo Afolabi did there. Free kick. Free kick for Nigeria. And Nigeria is yet to have a clear-cut chance being created by the team. They had only one glaring one in the opening half, and that one, Sebastian Flourish, couldn't put it into the back of the net for them. They had 3 shots on target at the end of first half. Stella Nyamiche with that glorious touch. Fatimata Husseini. Aminat Bello gets the ball. Throw in. So there is this tangle involving Okpeyemi, Esther Ajakaye, and Abenanoma Opoku of Ghana. That's quite a long tussle to watch out for the remaining minutes.
How long will the Ghanaians still defend deep into their own half? They are leading. They need to open up, exploit places, and make sure they get the second goal to pushing them down. Because if you are leading by a goal to 0, it doesn't mean it's all that good. You're still believing dangerously till the time ends. But this time around, Flores, who has been the winger operating from all sort of on the pitch, is now being pinned down, and you definitely cannot see her movement. She's been missing in action, but yet they are still pushing the Ghanaians to make sure they equalize in this match.
And Ghana, Faiza Seidu wanted to get the better side of Jumoke Alani Victoria, but that wasn't meant to be. Oluchi with the ball for the Nigerians at the moment, entreating her teammates to dash forward. Throw in. Different teams, unique in their own ways and forms. Ghana with that advantage that they would have to enjoy there. And then Shukrat Oladipo of Nigeria, the Robo Queens defender, hasn't really been able to help attack in this game. Mefia Nyame for Ghana. Mefia gets a rebound for the second time. Stella Nyamiche takes a strike at goal. Igbechi gathers, and she has to take some number of minutes to take a breather from that save. This young lady always has sights on the goal, and that was when she nearly ripped that one through as well to give the Ghanaians a better cushion in this game. But Igbechi rose to the occasion. An hour on the clock. Ghana 1, Nigeria 0.
Stella has been playing an instrumental role in the hearts of Ghanaians. She is a leader by an example, and she's doing it all. Look at where she picked that drive and then nearly resulted in the second goal. No doubt now they are calm, passing, having those kind of fluidity in the match. Even though they are being defensive, they are yet and they are calm giving out those passes, true passes, and making sure the 50-50 balls, they are picking all of them, making sure they hold on to possession to push forward. If you want to defend the goal, at least you have to have sight of the ball, hold on to possession, and then you can delay as much as you want.
Nigeria's under-20 team, the Falconets, have had a very flourishing start both in Africa and on the globe. The best results that this team have had in World Cup since their first appearance in the 2002 edition. They've made it a point to make it to virtually every other edition of this World Cup in 2004, in 2006, 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, and in 2015, 2018, and recently in 2022. The Nigeria's Falconets have had a very great start at the world stage. Afi with a save for Ghana. And that is how they just wanted to attack. This time around centrally from Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye. And success of Ghana goes to the ground. And this is what coaches do not love to see happening to their players, because they usually build their teams, their tactics, their formations, and everything around these players. And everyone has a unique play, a unique and exceptional role to play in such formations. Afi for Ghana. And Ghanaians are still holding on to that goal that they had from Stella Nyameche. This is a player that when she was named as the captain of the team before the tournament started, she was so ecstatic and she pledged to make the country proud. When she was informed of the target of the team, that they wanted to make it a host and win affair, a campaign that was drummed home into the ears of these girls. And when she was named the captain, she said that she was going to do nothing but to ensure that that particular target comes into reality. Camford Yeboah with Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye, and Esther manages to get that ball. She keeps it alive, but it goes behind. Throw in to the Ghanaians. 55 minutes.
Comfort Yeboah has been holding on Esther Ajakaye for a while now, and you can see she's getting a bit nervous and then not getting her day. Definitely, if you're a striker, a goal poacher, and then you are not having your way to get through or be on target, it's much more or less frustrating for Esther on the pitch of play now. Seeing her, she's been clearly committing fouls that she's not supposed, because she's not having that space and then that kind of passes that she could run through and then get her way through.
When the Falconets thought that they had their own records, which was very, very flourishing, the Ghanaians also indicated that they have quite a very glaring one as well. Ghana had their first appearance. The Black Princesses had their first appearance in World Cup for FIFA Under-20. They had it the first bid in 2010, and 2012 they made a comeback once again to that tournament. In 2014 they were there, 2016 they made it, and 2018 with a recent ban in 2022. In terms of their performance for other African Cup of Nations qualifications, their best was to be champion in 2010 and 2012 together with 2014. So these are different sets of teams, talents, a wealth of it. Nigeria Amina Bello. But Sarah Koulibaly denied Amina Bello from getting that luxurious and delightful touch that could have caused the team. It took a deflection of Amina Bello herself. Goal kick to Ghana. Georgia Friye, a former vice president of the Ghana Football Association, is here to also be part of this history being made. And there he is. He was the former vice president of the then president of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantechi. And this is an interesting change coming from the technical team of Nigeria. Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye, the top scorer of this tournament, takes early shower for Adobe Oka to replace her. And that is the reason, because Esther hasn't really been lethal up front for the Falconets. But what does Adobe Oka bring to this game for the Nigerians?
Fatimata Sarah Koulibaly comforts have been putting Ajakemi on check to the extent I told you she was getting frustrated, and then there are some fouls that she wasn't supposed to be. And now Adobe has come in. Adobe in the match came in to replace, and then she came in as a substitute, and she wasn't that bad. She also kept to manage that 3-0 victory against Burkina Faso. This time around, she has come in for the top scorer, Esther. So we'll see what Christopher has brought on his card now.
Adobe Oka, a player who has gotten 3 goals so far in this tournament. She is very good. Whenever she comes in as a replacement, in their game against Niger, she had a rare start and she excelled for the team. Mefie Nyame of Faith Ladies and Igbechi, who is furious, is issuing instructions to her teammates. Igbechi Adlin of Delta Queens has conceded for the first time in this tournament. Stella Nyamiche goes for goal. Just a whisker away. How does she always manage to come up with such strikes? She's just a tactician. Too good for her age. Very, very wonderful player. A great addition for the Ghanaian team. Great header by Abena Anoma Opoku, Comfort Owusu and Adobe Oka, but Comfort managed to get that ball at the expense of Adobe Oka. Oluchi before Afi. Oluchi with that first header before Igbechi nearly allowed the Ghanaians to get the second. Helen Alomenu and Esther. "70 minutes on the clock. Messi Kalu for Nigeria. And Messi Kalu is a player of Nasarawa Amazons in Nigeria. A very, very good midfielder. And in this season, they even made it to the grand finale. So if you look at how football has evolved in terms of that for the women in Nigeria, football which was introduced for the first time in Nigeria in the year 1978. What a break for the two teams. And the Ghanaian coach is calling his players to speed up and get closer because he really has some words for them before the game kickstarts once again. And Igbechi is having a word with her coach, Christopher Danjuma Musa. In 1978, when football for women was introduced in Nigeria, it was through the foundation that was named as NIFWA. Abbreviation is for Nigerian Female Football Organizing Association, which was later renamed as the Nigerian Female Football Proprietors Association in 1979. And that was when they started, before teams began to be formed in the 1990s. And that has created a huge opportunity for girls to showcase to the world, girls in Nigeria to have the avenue of showcasing to the world that they are good when it comes to football. Nigeria's corner kick. Esther retakes. Afi with the critical save for Ghana. Another double one, and this time around it goes straight to the arms of Afi. And look at how some of the officials of the Ghanaians are so baffled, mesmerized that Afi has managed to keep Nigerians at arm's length. The header from the substitute, the initial one from Adobe Oka, and Taiwo Afolabi, this low drive, and still Afi had a sight on the ball and gathered for Ghana. And that save is celebrated. Look at what the captain is telling her. You are on course. We are depending on you to give us the results. These are the exact words of the captain, Stella Nyamiche, to her goalkeeper, Afi Amelieku.
Of course, you have to be giving that kudos to Afi for saving you on the double occasion. One was a clear corner kick that nearly resulted. That was a block with the leg. And then the second one, John Boy or Comfort Yewa was just behind her, making sure it doesn't go past them. That was a brilliant free kick by all standard. But it nearly resulted in an own goal as well, as I'm seeing it. That first header was from own opponent, Success Amia, and that would have been living dangerously. But hey, kudos to the Ghanaians. They have defended brilliantly on the day, and Afi is having a good day because she has saved Ghana, and as at now, comfortable leading the Ghanaians is kind courtesy by Afi. With this great save, definitely Nigeria would have been pulling one back or even taking the lead.
75 minutes on the clock. And Afi of Northern Ladies, she was the brain behind the resurgence of Northern Ladies in the Ghana's Women's Premier League in the second round. They managed to end the season as part of the top four in the Northern Zone of the Women's League in Ghana's Premier League for the women. And that is what she has proven to be in this game, showing the reason why Coach Yusuf Bazigi reposted her that confidence to be in goal post for the team throughout this tournament. And Deborah Brown, a goalkeeper of Ampem Dakwant Ladies, is also waiting anxiously to give a helping hand when the need arises. Nigeria, but Ghana clear their lines, and Faiza Seidu is also very good up front. Adobe Oka to Amina Bello, Afolabi to Messi Kalu for Nigeria, and free kick. Helen Alomanu took a bit of Messi Kalu before Stella Nyamiche pounced on that loose ball Yes, she picked a bit of the referee spotted that. Free kick. Free kick to Nigeria. And Afi, who has been so elastic in goal post for Ghana, is the reason why that lead that they had from the first half is still holding. Free kick taken, and Messi gets it wrong once again for the Falconets with that free kick. And Afi didn't bother much in their attempt to clear our throw because it wasn't even on target. So this would be a huge victory if the Ghanaians would be able to hold on. But they are playing against a very, very relentless team, a relentless side like Nigeria. Flourish, Sebastian, and Mefie Nyame is well positioned once again to clear for Ghana. And Ghana having an array of substitutes on the bench. Corner kick, Fatimata gives away corner kick for the Ghanaians. Adobe Oka reckoning to her teammates to flood the 18-yard box of the Ghanaians, because this is a dead ball situation. Anything is possible. A wasted effort. And look at what Comfort Eboy is doing. So much free to do that because that strike wasn't even on target. And Messi Kalu chants that should be a penalty. But what of the action of Comfort Eboy in the goalpost?
I guess they are happy as the way they have defended really well, to the extent that the goal poacher, which is Esther, who was kept in their pocket, has been taken out. Now there's a bit of room for them to operate, and calmly they are defending their lines brilliantly. At least if you can't get more goals, you will have to defend and defend well to the end of the time.
Throw into the Falconets of Nigeria amidst the boos from the fans. But what could have warranted that?
I guess it's the ball boys are trying to keep on to the ball. I think they have given a warning not to be doing that. They have to make sure the balls are on place and then giving it out, not to waste much time.
In such grand finale, everything is possible. Teams will do everything to get the results that they are so much desiring to have at the end of the game. And that is the substitute Adobe Oka, who was introduced by coach Christopher Danjuma for Nigeria. Amina Bello dashes forward. And that is a corner kick to Nigeria. Nigeria gets a corner kick. I wouldn't be too surprised if coach Christopher Danjuma introduces Okpe Kasarachi Blessing into this game, because in such moments and in their previous games, she has been one of the preferred substitutes for coach Christopher Danjuma. Corner kick by Esther. A very stupid header from Comfort Owusu. And it was only Faisal Seidu who was there up front for Ghana. Faisal Seidu throw in with 10 minutes left to end the game. And Faisal Seidu, Ghana making a substitution, introducing their second top scorer in the season, Mariam Ponsa, who plays for Ampim Dakwant Lady. She comes in to replace Faiza Saidu for the remaining 10 minutes of the game. Corner kick. Well, that couldn't get to the corner. It should rather be a throw-in. It will be thrown in to Nigeria with just 9 minutes on the clock left. Ghana 1, Nigeria 0. Nigeria, Sarah Koulibaly. Sarah Koulibaly with that timely clearance for Ghana. And Comfort Yeboah was so well disciplined with her hands on her body to avoid any dramatic situation of a handball that can end the Nigerians equally a penalty. Afi Amanyaku in her elements gathers very nicely for Ghana. Great save from Afi.
First touch wasn't good, but second time she had a grip of it. Ghanaians are living dangerously. Nigerians have started asking questions and asking questions upon questions again. For this past few minutes, it's Nigeria who has been putting pressure on the attack of the Ghanaian defense. And then you can't be defending deep inside your half. They need to make sure they pounce on the loose ball, hold on to possession in the midfield, and then make sure they have that kind of true passes. If you really want to defend, you don't defend deeply. Anything is possible. It can be results in anything, penalty, deflections, or whatever it is. So they need to be careful in such situation. 7 minutes more to go. They are able to do it if
Amina Bello for the Falconets of Nigeria. She gets a corner kick for her effort. Jumoke Alani Victoria fed Amina Bello, but success blocked that attempt of delivery from Amina Bello. And Nigerians have the numbers. Another poorly taken corner kick from Esther. The Nigerians are not happy. And Afi Amanyaku has been given a caution by the referee for delayed tactics. With just 5 minutes. This is an inaugural tournament altogether. The first of its kind, newly introduced. In the month of April, when the draw was held in WAFU headquarters in Ivory Coast, that was when the respective teams that were going to participate knew their various groups. Ghana, as the host nation, was put in Group A, together with Benin and Ivory Coast. Nigeria were in Group B, together with Niger. They had Niger in their group, Togo and Burkina Faso. Ghana, Helen Alomanu, Clares, Afolabi Taiwo for Nigeria. And Nigeria get the chance to equalize, and they do. 1-1 is the scoreline. Flourish. Sebastian would be the happiest of all the Nigerian players. She was the one that gave away the penalty, and she has been the one that has scored for her team. Right on the stroke of ending the game. What a dramatic end it has turned out to be. Taiwo Afolabi started this attack and build up. Managed to find Amina Bello, who came up with that dip. And Afi Amanyaku, for the first time, missed that ball. And this is what Flourish. Sebastian, who is already on 3 goals in this tournament, wouldn't miss for anything. What an end to this game. Ghana won, Nigeria won.
Game on. Esther, I kept on saying this, that how on earth, how long will Ghanaians keep on defending their lines? They need to hold on to possession and make sure they make that clear-cut incursion. Now is a game on, 1-1, 86 minutes. You will have to be heading towards extra time as you look at it. Either than that, who is grabbing the winner at this particular few minutes left on the clock?
Free kick. Nigeria have a player of theirs on the ground. And this is what the Ghanaians were not really expecting to happen. But they should have known that they were playing against a very good team. The fascinating team of the tournament with 100% record. A team that hasn't conceded, and they only have to concede through this spot kick in this grand finale. And that is the hallmark of champions. Nigeria have gotten the equalizer with just 3 minutes to end the game. Free kick taken by Nigeria. And Ghana defend their lines well, but this follow-up goes behind for goal kick. Afi. Messi Kalu and Afi saves rather. Mefi Nyame, Comfort Iabua. And there is this kind of silence here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium from the home fans. Just when the equalizer came for the Nigerians, they thought it was game over for them. But that wasn't meant to be. The Nigerians have come in strongly with that equalizer. Comfort Iabua for Ghana.
They came in strongly. I kept on asking that the Nigerians have been asking questions upon questions, and then within 5 minutes, how many corner kicks we do have in that really 5 minutes? More than on countless corner kicks upon, and it wasn't delivered well. So Ghanaians kept on defending, and I said to them that they need to hold on to ball possession, not to be defending that deep into their half. And then this has resulted, just one kick, good pass, brilliant, and then Flourish, pounce on it, 1-1, game on. Is it going to be extra time, straight to penalties? And now, still committing mistakes.
Messi Kalu for Nigeria. And that is a push. And the referee gives the Nigerians a free kick. And at the end of 90 minutes, if none of these teams is able to get a winning goal, it's going to be straight penalties as decided by the match commissioner for the game. So it's just the 90 minutes is up already, and Nigeria have this dead ball situation to get something meaningful out of it. 90 minutes, Ghana 1, Nigeria 1. And it will be 5 minutes of additional time. Esther went for goal. She had different ideas. Goal kick to Ghana. And these two goalkeepers, if the game ends 1-1, that is where a heroine would be so much sought after by these two teams. Mary Amponsa for Ghana, dashing forward. She manages to send a good delivery, and Ghana have a chance to get the second There, it rattles the goalpost. How was that missed? It rattles the goalpost. And the Ghanaian players are protesting to the referee that had already crossed the line, but the ball crossed indeed. So this is how Mariam Ponsa began the attack for the Ghanaians. Managed to send a good delivery. Oluchi slipped. Mefie Nyame's strike was blocked. And there, Messi Kalu, even on the floor, cleared once again. Before this, did that cross the line or not?
Even if it did, I think the whole circumference of the ball didn't cross the line, Esther. So already the referees had this spot on. It didn't. The whole circumference of the ball did not cross the line. So automatically, it's game on. This is how the Ghanaians will want to fight back at the very last minute to redeem their image, to still take that commanding lead, not to take the ball to penalties.
Corner kick to Ghana, quickly taking. Mariam Ponsa heads, and once again Ghana failed to get the goal from this attack. Stella Nyamiche, another corner kick. Nervy moments in the final minutes of this game. Very nervy moments. This is where passion has to come to play, but the brain needs to stay sharp, and that is why the Nigerians are trying their possible best to allow their brains to stay sharp before the last 2 minutes of this game. Another corner kick, the third consecutive one for the Ghanaians.
Tables have turned now. Pressure on the Nigerians now. How is Ghana able to do that in this very last minute?
Corner kick taken by Ghana, and another crucial save by Ingbechi. Just after that save, she goes to the ground. So this was the other corner kick taken. And Stella Nyamiche was the one who took it. Ingbechi Adeline, the goalkeeper of the Falconets of Nigeria, in a very discomfort state. She is the key goalkeeper of Delta Queens, the Nigerian team who play in their Super League as well. What a turn of events this game has really developed into. So that was when Messi Kaluchnere, even on the ground, was defending wholeheartedly for the Nigerians. The ball seems not to have crossed the line. From that replay once again, and looking at where the assistant was positioned and the referee as well, it's a clear indication that they really had a very good view of it and took the right decision that they thought is befitting to the incident that unfolded.
But what a goal would that have been, Esther, in that dying vessel of the game? It just took another twist and another turn, and Ghanaians were now had the upper hands on the Nigerians. What a dramatic ending that we have had here. This is a promising and a beautiful football that we have witnessed here today at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, and then this is what we are all looking for. The supporters have been in their most supporting to make sure the teams share them into victories, but when Ghana or the equalizer came, you saw that kind of that silence that when a pin dropped you could really hear. But when they were making that clear-cut chances, surging forward, making sure that off-post kick made sure the stadium engulfed, making sure they were in the right mood to the end of the game.
What a tantalizing end to this inaugural tournament of the WAFU Zone B U20 Girls Cup. Ghana as the host nation playing against their familiar foes, a team that they are so much familiar with in both gender. Igbechi, Adeline. That is a very devastating scene to behold. She seems to have had a head-on collision. So we take a look at the goals that were scored. That was from Stella Nyamiche of Ghana from the spot kick in the first half to put her country in the lead. And look at that for a celebration, a rapturous one. That is how it means to the fans of these Ghanaians. And this was when Taiwo Afolabi and Amina came up with this build-up that helped Flourish Sebastian to make amends to get the goal. But that is a goal where she was unmarked, empty goal post. Even with the eyes closed, she will still find the back of the net. She does that to get the equalizer at the 86th minute for the Falconets of Nigeria. This really has lived up to a grand finale that is indeed worth celebrating. And Afi Amanyaku, on this occasion, some of the fans will think that she let her team down.
Of course, Esther, she really indeed let her team down at that particular time that we were living up to expectation, making sure just about some minutes much more to go to just grab that enviable trophy. You let your team down like this. I think she's done brilliantly in the very first half that we were thinking she had a good day. But this time around, I don't think they will forgive her for that. But Flourish, who committed that penalty that caused the Nigerian team in the very first half, made amends to it in the second half. Good goal, and then we are all back in it. We'll see who wins the maiden edition of the WAFU Zone B U20 girls.
Ingbechi Adeline of Delta Queens. The Nigerians are fortunate to have her back on her feet. We were left with just a minute of the injury time before proceedings come to an end, and for the winner to be determined through the spot kick. That was when she picked up a knock and needed to be attended through. So looking at the minutes that had to be wasted during that moment, it meant that play would have to continue for some number of minutes before perhaps the final whistle will come up. And Ghanaians are preparing to make a change. They are introducing their key player in the heart of midfield, Wasma Mohammed, for the final minutes before the whistle goes. Wasma plays for Northern Ladies, and she was very, very great for the Ghanaian team in their games that they played. Amina Bello, look at that for a sliding tackle all the way from Sarah Koulibaly of Army Ladies. Another team that are enjoying their second season in Ghana's Women's Premier League. Helen Alomenu of Ghana. And there she's been helped on to be back on her feet by her teammate Mariam Ponsan. Throw-in taken by Nigeria. Good control there to spray away Abna Anoma Opoku before Fatima Tafuseni cleared the lines. And there referee Natasha blows her whistle. Well, before then she says a substitution should be made first by the Ghanaians before any other further decision from her. Mefia Nyame has been replaced by Wasma Mohammed. Substitution And this should be some of the decisions from the technical team of Ghana ahead of the spot kick. That is, if there is no goal before the final whistle. And there, the final whistle comes. Ghana 1, Nigeria 1. So this is how the grand finale of the WAFU Zone B U20 Girls Cup has turned out to be. A winner would have to be decided through the spot kick, as based on the decision that was communicated to from the match commissioner. And Messi Chineric Halu, together with Jumoke Alani Victoria, they knew that this is a tough game that they have played in this tournament. And Ghana, on the other hand, for the first time, have got into this stage in this tournament. In the semi-finals, all of these two teams had progression to the finals with ease. Nigeria beat Benin by 3-0. Ghana, on the other hand, beat Burkina Faso by 3-1. And they met for the first time in this tournament. And at the end of 90 minutes, it's 1-1 apiece. So what happens next? The adage says that football and penalties can really be a win for either side. But there have been countless occasions where goalkeepers have indeed helped their respective teams on to cheer to make it in such moments. And that was recently witnessed in the FIFA World Cup that took place in Qatar 2022. Goalkeeper Martinez of Argentina was the hero when Argentina clinched on to that World Cup trophy that is so much desperately desired to have. That is one of those countless moments that goalkeepers have held their respective teams. And here, Igbechi Adeline of Delta Queens, together with Afia Menyaku of Northern Ladies in Ghana, this is where these two would have to help their teams as well. So referees having words with the two captains, Stella Nyameche and of course Oluchi. They need to listen to it with rapt attention, because any failure to adhere to any of those instructions would mean a different thing altogether. But the final one could definitely be a retake if there is a fallout in adhering to any of such instructions. So the toss is made the moment that none of the fans of these two teams yearned to have got into is here. Penalty from the spot kick, 12 yards. Which team would walk away with the bragging right and the trophy of being the winners of the inaugural tournament that was introduced by WAFU? These are moments that everyone is not spared of. Those anxious moments. The anxiety is for the anxiety in all angles and all spheres from the teams, but the principal actors themselves are the ones who would in the long run be at the receiving end of such nervy moments. What is going to happen from this sport kick? Afi Amenyeku for Ghana, Adeline Ingbechi for Nigeria. Which of these two goalkeepers will turn out to be the heroine on the day? But the two coaches are still sorting things out in reference to who their penalty takers would be. And Afi Amenyeku is ready and going through her final prayers And so are the other players doing the same too. This is a huge moment. Christopher Danjuma Musa of Nigeria has managed to finally sort things out with his players, and they move away from the technical team. And look at these fans checking each other's temperature before the penalties is taken. That tells you how anxious they are. Natasha, the center referee, reckoning to the two teams to ready themselves for the decisive moment in this tournament. For the tournament, this inaugural one has turned out to be Nigeria versus Ghana. Ghana and Nigeria played in penalties recently when the Black Galaxies of Nigeria played against that. When the Black Galaxies of Ghana played against that of Nigeria, and the Ghanaians won 5-4 on penalties. That one was for the males, but here is for the females, and these girls are going to be separated from the sport kick. And it would be Adeline Igbechi of Nigeria to be in goal post, and that means the first penalty will be taken by the Ghanaians. Prayers, moments where each player goes through what he or she believes the most on religious grounds. But after the prayers, the task still remains to be cleared. Who will be the first penalty taker for Ghana? Ghanaians still sorting things out as Igbechi Adeline patiently awaits the first penalty taker of the Ghanaians. She goes to her news, still waiting. But this is a game and a moment for anyone, for any team. And that's why it's called the sport kick. Whatever happens, happens. You don't have the benefit of a retake unless the goalkeeper flouts any of the rules. But if a player fails to score, then that means there can never be a retake. And there, Comfort the Abua of Ampem Dakwan ladies. She herself was involved in the penalty nature of this salt when her team played in the grand finale of the Ghana Women's Premier League finals. And she was the first penalty taker for the team. And she goes again. Such a very dead ball specialist. Comfort the Abua against Igbechi Adeline of Nigeria. And Comfort has to shoulder this responsibility for the Ghanaians. She does. And that's where she always scores. Top corner before she celebrates. And she's telling her, I told you you can't save my penalty. And that is what she has done. Comfort the Abua. She scores in an amazing manner for the Ghanaians. Time for Afi Amanyaku to also do her part. That was a penalty which Comfort the Abua took for the Ghanaians. Chidimma Ogbuchi of Robo Queens is about to take this penalty for the Nigerians. Chidimma Ogbuchi. Chidimma against Afi Amanyaku. Ghana is already leading. Chidimma, Afi saves. Chidimma fails to score. And the fans of the Ghanaians celebrate. Afi Amanyaku had a very perfect direction of the ball and saved for the Ghanaians. And Chidimma Ogbuchi with the first failure in her attempt to seek parity for all the penalties taken. Georgina Aisha of Ghana, who plays for Pelpia Ladies, is behind, coming up against Adeline, and Adeline saves. Georgina fails to score 2, and Adeline Igbechi tells her teammate to calm down. Difficult moment for Georgina, who can't even raise her head. She knows that she has failed the team, but that's what penalties are for. It's either you score or you miss. The Nigerians did before she also missed it. And Flourish. Sebastian is coming in for this penalty for Nigeria. A captain who has scored, a player who has scored 4 goals. A striker who is very, very promising. Was part of the team that played for the Flamingos in the FIFA Under-17 World Cup last year. And here she is with a chance to make it 1-1 on the penalties for Nigeria. And Flourish will take this for them. She plays for Bayelsa Queens. Flourish against Afi Emenyaku, and Afi makes a double save. Afi with a second consecutive save for the Ghanaians. Flourish of Bayelsa Queens fails to score. She had the equalizer at the dying embers of the game, but she fails to score from the spot kick. So that means Ghana 1, Nigeria 0 for the spot kick. And Stanya Meche, she scored from the spot kick in the first half for Ghana in this game. A player of Dreams Ladies, a 17-year-old girl who is also a coach, captaining her team to such a major tournament. She has the responsibility. She does. In a very fashionable manner. Stella Nyamiche scores for Ghana. So it's Ghana 2, Nigeria 0 for the number of kicks taken. And this is where she couldn't even get the direction. And this is just a sensational player. And Afi Amenyaku with a save can help Ghanaians to clinch this title. And Esther is taking this penalty. She has been the player who takes all their penalties in this tournament so far. Ghana have scored 2, Nigeria none. And if Esther doesn't score, that means Afi has made 3 crucial saves for Ghana. All the 3 penalties Esther failed. And Afi has become the heroine of the Ghanaian team. She started with this exploit in the early minutes of the game, and she has continued through to the extra time, through the penalties for her team. If Helen Alomenu scores, it means Ghana would be crowned the champions of this inaugural title. Helen of Esiam Socrates against Ingbechi Adeline of Delta Queens. Helen failed to score. And Adeline is beckoning to her teammates that I have made 2 crucial saves. What are you doing to help me as well? Helen Alomenu missing this glorious chance to help Ghana for them to be crowned champions of this maiden edition of such a prestigious tournament. And Afi is coming up against Messi Kalu Chinere of Nigeria, the midfield maestro of the Nigerian team. She won the MVP in their game in the semi-finals. Messi, if she misses this, would be doomed for the Falconets of Nigeria. Messi against Afia Benyaku. She scores. And that is the first penalty that has been scored by the Nigerians. Afi couldn't find a direction. And that means the final kick, if Ghana scores this, it would mean they would win this tournament with 3 spot kicks, which were well taken. Igbechi Adeline has the utmost responsibility of saving this for the Nigerians. If only she would want to keep the hopes of the Falconets and of course the entire Nigerian country alive at the moment, who are watching across. Igbechi Adeline against Mariam Ponsa, and she scores. Ghana are the inaugural champions of the WAFU Under-20 Youth Girls Cup. The host and win mission and the campaign that they had before the commencement of this tournament is successful. Mariam Ponsa with the last kick for the Ghanaians. She is the second top scorer of Ghana's league that recently ended. She took a huge breather before this lovely penalty kick to help the Ghanaians win this maiden tournament. Huge, huge congratulations to the Ghanaian team and commiserations to the Nigerian team. This is what football is all about. But the Nigerians in the long run will take solace in the fact that they lost gallantly, having been able to come to this competition and only conceding the grand finale. This is a huge win for them. They lost, but the consolation will be that they lost gallantly. But for the Ghanaians, the host and win mission is accomplished. Coach Yusuf Bazigi and his technical team would forever remember this day, and so would every fan who watched across the globe this wonderful tournament, which was aired live on Max TV, can get to see your Vivax Media, equally be happy that this was indeed a tournament deserving of its wealth. The Nigerians would have to go as runners-up for the Ghanaians to celebrate as the winners.
Everybody knows acrobato, and if you know acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. As an international journalist and actor, my health is my priority. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar in terms of my health. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Sister, please, let him talk to you. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na say problem is wom. Ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa. Na mkwan point no mo hwe me modem no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fae no ene ma won kra mienu hofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba. Ti ani je dia ba fie pa.
You heard everything yourself.
Me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante. Ene ne ko end point o mama no nura ene ne ho eden a watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you.
Of acrobato.
Hello.
Hey, ohwehwe what che.
Okay.
A free bra would the end point what dance. I'm a quiet. Me Joseph Semana Nkoye and person my emranyina and imagine Sabema. Now me be here for the one in Jarisa.
You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
So me sorry anopa and nam say me din nafa lady clinic sie me hunti no. Eni chi a me di sorry efri mpam eya sonko. Adwuma mu so me to make come me ho eye adwuma yie sane yese.